Hello interwebs and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. My name is SkiniMini.
And I'm Pharaoh.
Last episode, we pretty much got our butt handed to us with evidence for Maggie's case, and it looks like she is completely guilty. But we found an issue. Apparently, Glen Elg had some medication, so our only chance is to push the medication issue. If we leave it, it's guilty.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you push?
Push it!
Okay, I was gonna keep going with it, but then I'm like, no, because I think it's gonna go worse and worse. So only moments ago, Mr. Kudo made a following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime?
But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal.
That doesn't change the fact that it could not have been found at the crime scene.
Exactly.
However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. You know as well as I do, the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. It hardly seems likely that the coffee was that the waitress served would contain it either. But it did! The possibility is undeniable! Ugh.
That's enough. Mr. Kudo, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Kudo?
I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant the day of the murder. Victor Kudo? The pigeon hater?
Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me. Yay! Good job, Nick! Thanks, Maya.
The
court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness.
Ha! I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups.
Court is adjourned for recess.
Yay, kickball!
No.
No, it's not the same recess?
No.
Aww.
Woo! That was close.
Tell me about it. I nearly died in there.
That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up.
I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right?
That's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again.
Oh, poor Gumshoe.
So the next huh?
I don't like Maggie right now. She doesn't understand.
She doesn't get it. I'm like, you were in the police force. You should know.
Right?
Anyway. So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right?
Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds.
I bet he's gonna be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know? Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you gonna be able to handle him, Nick?
Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me, even those never-ending bird seeds.
Will you please stop talking about the seeds? Weirdy.
You know, I find it odd that they never let Maggie change out of her waitress uniform this entire time.
Because they're perverts.
Ew.
And it's fan service for the game, so.
That's true.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Kudo, your next witness, please.
Prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand?
Oh, you got his music. That's cool.
The name and occupation, if you don't mind. My name's Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too. We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Yeah, listen, youngin. Yeah, How much call you think there is for kimono embroidery here? Kimono or embroidery? Embroidery? How do you say that damn word again?
Embroidery.
Embroidery, okay. That's what I do. Or did, back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed.
Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe he could embroider my costume sometime.
Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working at the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen.
Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident?
Oh, yes. I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javachino.
Seeds?
What do you think these are,
I see.
So you saw everything that happened, Gramps? Did I? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all. Then please, tell the court. We're all ears. Sure. I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail. He's really getting into this.
He must feel important.
Maybe. What I witnessed. The young man was reading a sports paper. The servant girl brought him her Javachino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it and it looked like he was in terrible pain and then collapsed. I asked the servant girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a servant girl. Please refer her to as a waitress.
Oh, you're as bad as the rest of them.
He's probably the same age as you.
All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned,
Newfangled?
All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
Excuse me?
Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away.
Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
What the?
I don't even know.
Okay, alright.
I don't even know.
Oh boy. Alright, so the young man's reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. Oh no! The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the servant girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. Okay, now since we know his I'm gonna say his past, but his little special issue.
Special issue. Yep. It's a disease.
Yeah. Are we sure that he saw her? So let's press on that.
You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by? Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is. Sorry? You can see all the way up to her, you know, she's practically naked in that uniform.
What?
So the particular feature you recognize by the waitress is her outfit? But anyone could wear just a uniform, even me.
Oh. Hold on.
That's not something I want to see. Oop.
Monty. Oh, excuse me.
You're good.
Okay, sorry. Oh, did you say this already?
That's you.
Oh. Mr. Wright, please spare the court any further mental anguish from that image. Don't get all excited, Nick. You gotta keep yourself together.
I guess I got a bit carried away there.
So
Gah! There are other things I recognize about her, too.
like?
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do?
Press harder.
Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not.
Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these are the features that you recognize about the defendant. I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose.
What? What? That's it?
You know, if you look at the apron now, it's like,
Hold on, is there a picture we could see of her?
I'm not sure.
No.
Well, I'm not sure of Maggie herself, but like, if you take a look at the apron itself, you see what's on it.
Yeah, wouldn't he see like the stains and stuff on it?
Yeah, I think he would.
Okay, but okay, let's just press on this because that doesn't make sense.
Press on it?
Yeah.
All right. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face.
That's what I was getting at.
As if I wouldn't remember that. Witness knows the straps of the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face. That's right. I can even tell her the color ribbon in her hair. It was red. So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. Which I do. I get a feeling there's something more to this somehow.
I think there is. We don't need to ask about the straps. That's not really that important. Let's ask about her back. See if he was actually paying attention to her back.
What part of her back?
That's what I'm saying. I wish I had, like, quotes.
The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection.
Huh. He's got you there, Gramps. People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe somebody. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. It's harassment. I'll tell you, I'm obsessed with straps and ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features. Features you observe from the front, that is, to your testimony.
Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer.
If I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer.
Stop it.
I can't help it, okay?
Stop it.
Oh. There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
Okay, now here I think is where we want to present the apron because, for goodness sake, look at this doggone apron. It's got coffee spills and freaking looks like a blood stain. That would have caught my eye. I'm like, girl, is that ketchup? So this is what I present the apron.
You say, girl, is that ketchup?
Girl, that better be ketchup because if that's blood, I am out of here. You ain't getting no tip.
Wow,
Sorry,
okay.
I blacked out for a second. Where am I?
Blacked out, yeah, I got you there. Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm gonna use that from now on.
Oh god.
Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this. That filthy thing was filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating.
Aw.
Have you ever seen this before? Of course I haven't. You think I forget something as dirty as that? Well, you halfway to clot? This old man. What? What is it? For ever since I said you'll have a clot, there's been an eerie silence in here. Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before, yes, you know what I'm getting at here. You couldn't have possibly seen a waitress from the front. Oops.
witness! You can't just oops your way out of this!
Ha. Well, well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial in our hands. Listen, Trite. Here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird.
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest upon what you say or on what you say you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps. You can roll on me, Captain. My dog is in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what burger a customer wanted.
He can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out. Very well, let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim.
All right, let's see what identifying things he can tell us.
Yeah!
He was another one of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and a noisy brat kept rustling his pages. The young man was listening to his wireless. I remember that well. Then the servant girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup and for his free hand took a sip.
The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail.
Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
Wait, what? How are we
You talking about like Facebook?
No.
Never mind.
How are we gonna handle this, Nick?
We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot.
Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel?
I suppose, but it's what I do best. What, trip up old men? All right.
Oh.
Well. What?
Nothing.
I don't know what you're thinking about, but you stop that.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Hey.
Yeah.
Man, are we just gonna make noises, or what are we doing?
We're gonna go to the last statement.
We're just gonna go through the cadences.
Okay, the little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. Okay.
So, okay, he picked up his free hand, took a sip. But you want to press on that?
No, we're gonna present something because if
what?
I don't know why my brain has stopped working for some reason. Okay, because look at the coffee cup. The coffee contained potassium cyanide covered in the victim and Maggie's fingerprints. Okay, well, if you go back to his statement, where is it? He said he had a newspaper. Where is it? He had a newspaper in his right hand, and a nosy brat kept rustling the pages. But hold on. I'm trying to put it together because he had the newspaper in his right hand, but the way the cup is presenting and how he drank it, it's like he held it in his right hand. Cause look it.
You told me to look, but I can't see.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
What am I looking at?
Okay, if you look at the cup, look at the cup. The handle's on the right.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Oh, and the coffee stain's right there.
Right. So if that's the case, then the handle should be on the left.
Right.
So that's where I want. This is why I want to present it. So that.
You want to present it on this statement when he gave his free hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Present.
Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this is a way of testing your credibility of your memory? I know. That's nothing wrong with my memory. I tell you, nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat those seeds that sing the pigeon song. Care to tell us where this is going, Trite? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding a paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left. God, what is this? Kindergarten? But I would like the court to please take a look at this.
That's the cup on the victim used, correct?
Yes, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips.
Yes, there is a stain left by the coffee.
Now, if you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding a cup in his right hand. But how? Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. Arr!
Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. Okay, I gotta say something here. It's weird because in the court record, it doesn't say specifically that he held it with his right hand, so that one is, I had a tough time when I first played it, because I was like, how does this make any sense? You have to actually look at the picture itself and be like, what? So it's just...
I totally understand, because I think I got caught up when I was playing the game the first time as well at this point. Like, the game is really making you look at all the details. I mean, that's something you can very easily miss. Mm-hmm. Like, unless you're just not looking at every single piece of statement, every single piece of evidence. It's like, wait a minute, considering you said this and that, what? So you have to apply logic to it as well.
Yeah, no.
So...
I think the witness had better go back to the park where he was.
Wait!
What the?
If you think I'm going to stay here, listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup, I know what I saw.
You still insist on your testimony?
That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good, law-abiding citizen, I am. It's not that young hoppy and you Spiky and Yahoo who are at fault. Who, me?
Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already.
Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I gotta say!
Sir, I'm gonna need you to calm down. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but... Sure. Oh, that's sorry.
Oh. Sure. Why not hear a little more?
Mr. Kudo!
Well, this is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand. Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor.
Okay, we'll listen to his testimony and then we'll end the episode. So let's do this.
All right. The boy is wearing an earpiece in the same size as the green lens on his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up that coffee too, a cup of two. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand.
We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye. You mean like a scouter?
That's what I was gonna say. It looks very... Did we make that joke?
Probably.
Alright. But yeah, it looks like a freaking scouter. It wasn't your monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers.
And Super Saiyans.
Right?
Or excuse me, Saiyans. A monitor? You mean like a television screen?
The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work. HDTV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad. Well, that doesn't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth. It's true. He doesn't seem to be lying. And those are the facts. Go black and white.
Well, all right.
I can only imagine if you saw the letters we got nowadays. We got like, well, VGA, DVI,
HDMI.
There's like SUOELED and SUHD, 4K.
YMCA. I mean, you know, all kinds of letters.
Yeah, LMFAO. I mean, GTFO. There's so many things.
So many. All right, guys. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode. So in the next episode, we will cross-examine the last bit of Victor's testimony and get him off the stand because I'm tired of seeing his rosy red cheeks looking like Rudolph. Okay. If no one has told you that they love you today, I do.
I wonder if he had like a rough childhood or something with that big ass nose.
Probably. They used to laugh and call him names, you know.
Yeah.
They never let poor Kudo, you know, join in any Japanese games.
I think we might need to stop before we get into copyright infringement somehow.
That's not copyright infringement. There's no music in there.
Shut
Shut up. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.